We're watching a shaky ceasefire completely fall apart, with your US and Iranian forces directly trading fire in the Middle East. This isn't just a regional conflict, it's actively threatening 20% of the world's oil supply, sending global gas prices soaring, and it's dragging neighboring countries into the crossfire. And yet, right in the middle of these missile strikes and failed peace talks, one incredibly surreal event is about to bring these two warring nations together on US soil. Today, we need to talk about how all of these explosive pieces connect and what the ultimate breaking point looks like. Welcome back. If you're trying to make sense of the chaotic headlines right now, you are in the right place. My goal on this channel is to break down the world's most complex geopolitical shifts so you can understand exactly how they impact your life, your security, and your wallet. Today, we are unpacking the rapid, dangerous escalation between Washington, D.C. and Tehran. We're going to cover the recent tit for tat missile strikes in the Gulf, the massive economic squeeze happening in the Strait of Hormuz, why a critical ceasefire in Lebanon just got vetoed by a proxy group, and the bizarre diplomatic paradox happening at the upcoming World Cup. So we're going to start with this tit for tat during a very shaky ceasefire right now. And so this was very predictable. This was assessed by multiple intelligence analysts that if an agreement would not come to fruition, these two at odds countries were going to begin firing on each other again. And depending on who you ask, it started with Iran firing on regional partners, or it started with the United States firing on Iranian ships. Now, that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter where it started. I think it started on both ends of it, a mutual tit for tat. But we are reaching a very dangerous moment in the region, and it is affecting not just Iranians, not just regional partners in the Middle East, both partners of Iran and partners of the United States. It is reaching your bank accounts. Everyone watching this video is seeing some semblance of this war hit their wallets. Why is that? Well, it's because we have a Strait of Hormuz that is being used as a leverage, as a bargaining chip, as a chess piece on a 4D table board. Now, why is that? Well, that's because that is where you gain the most leverage. So you have Iran on one side trying to force a toll on any ship that's moving in and out of that area. And you have the United States, a great power, some would say, and I don't know if it's, I don't even think it's debatable, but the greatest military, the greatest navy in the world, maybe in the history of the world, that is blocking that travel. And every day that it is blocked, oil prices go up. Iran's economy shudders. And despite the intelligence reports that say that Iran can last 6 months, maybe a year, with the Strait of Hormuz completely closed, what Iran cannot handle is the IRGC in power, while every day the people of Iran are suffering. That is going to reach a boiling point. And when that boiling point hits, there will be mass chaos and violence in Iran. And that is what the US and Israel is banking on. They are banking on the people of Iran rising up against what is happening among their own borders. Now, that's going to take some time. Why? Because Iran has control of the messaging, especially within the borders, the internet, which is open just a little bit more, but they don't have a ton of social media. You have various various people, various Iranians who use VPNs to try to access certain pieces of information, certain social media sites. And what we could see if that continues to open up is this Gen Z uprising. We talked about this before, the Gen Z uprising in parts of Africa, in the global South, parts of Southeast Asia, where you have an authoritarian government that is actively suppressing the voices of the people, actively suppressing information from coming in. But when that information does sneak in, it upsets the youth, the people coming up in the world, and they see opulence among their leaders, and then they see their own family struggling to put food on the table. And so we could be at the precipice of this happening within Iran. Like I said, that is what the U.S. and Israel is banking on. That is why you you see President Trump trying to force a peace deal. It is not something that they think they have to do right now. But we are about to converge on a very public, very popular event that is happening within North America, but more specifically on U.S. soil. And that is being used as a diplomatic bargaining chip, right? So Iran is in the World Cup along with the United States. It's very interesting how, depending on what happens within this round robin of the World Cup, you could see the US and Iran on the pitch together, um, battling it out during the World Cup. Now, that I think my assessment is that is very unlikely, but I'm not here to do sports analysis. I'm here to do geopolitical analysis, and the analysis here is that the U.S. is using their leverage for hosting the World Cup to keep Iran from gaining intelligence and from infiltrating certain parts of U.S. culture, of U.S. news and information. Right. So first of all, the Iranian soccer club or football club um, is having to stay in Mexico, and then their travel into the US, they can travel the day of, and then they have to leave as soon as the match is over. So it's the leverage the US is playing there. You might wonder why the US may do this. Honestly, it's very clear that the US suspects that some of the Iranian national team, not the members of their team, not the players, but some within their sphere of influence could be part of the IRGC, could be part of a government that they are actively in conflict with. So, my assessment for here is that once the World Cup starts, you're going to see a lot of noise, a lot of fog about what the U.S. is doing to the Iranian traveling team. But the real thing to pay attention to here is what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Do we see, my assessment is it's possible to see some lifting of the blockade. You can see some of the lifting of possibly sanctions. And so we'll end with the World Cup. Pay close attention to what's being said publicly, but understand that the truth is under the surface. It is unlikely anything diplomatically happens, but um, post World Cup, you're probably going to see another push to come to a peace agreement. And if that fails, and it's likely to fail, you're going to see a restart of hostilities, major conflict, major military operations within the region. So, if you find this channel and the information that I provide useful, please think about subscribing. If you don't find it useful, hit the comments. Tell me why it's not useful. But as I always say, and as I continue to wish to everyone, please stay safe.